Good morning, my wonderful friends, my followers, and my impeccable group of members. Thank you all very much for the continued support on this channel, this journey of transparency. Yes, anyway, yeah. It is Saturday morning, the 5th of October. The weather here in Phoenix, though, is absolutely shit. I'm going to be honest with you. It is not the best weather. The clouds don't look good. Sky doesn't look good. And, but I did get a good night's sleep, yes. I was lying on the sofa last night watching a programme on Netflix and felt a bit peckish. Made a little bit of toast. And then I went down to a place in Phoenix called Beach Street. It's made like ISO containers. So if anyone has served in Afghanistan, or you've seen military bases in Afghanistan, you will see how they used to get the old ISO containers and they would scrub them and they would take off the front of them and they'd make shutters and they would put cookers in there. Well, Beach Street is a little village made out of ISO containers and it's absolutely stunning. So if you haven't been, go and visit it. Why not? Why not? It's free. Well, it's free to visit it. Yeah, but yeah, quiet night last night. Thanks to those that went across. So there's a guy on YouTube. He's a veteran friend of mine. I've known him for about 30 years, probably about 30 years. Lee Matthews. I'm just letting you know. So he did a podcast with me, and he's made it look fantastic. He's advertised it on Instagram. It's really, really good. And he's put the podcast on his YouTube channel. And I knew it would happen. One shitty comment saying, "Veteran fraudster. Can't believe you had him on." And it's clearly from someone that hasn't even watched the podcast. I mean, it's just, you're always going to get that. And it just makes me laugh because whenever I read comments like that, it's usually from people that aren't doing well in life. I'm just saying they're really doing really shit in life and they just, let's have a go at someone. It's just, it's the way the world is, unfortunately. But the news today, there's lots of things in the news today. Donald Trump, right? Want to point this out. So Donald Trump had his very first assassination attempt. Remember that there where the Secret Service messed up and he didn't put anyone watching the roof and all this nonsense. And an innocent person was killed. A firefighter was killed. And it was shocking. Do you remember that? It was shocking. Anyway, there was a GoFundMe put together and Donald Trump promoted the GoFundMe and it raised a lot of money. So Donald Trump is back there doing another rally in the same place he was shot at. He wanted to show unity with the locals, so he went back. But he actually also, believe it or not, he presented the widow, her husband was killed, he presented her with a check. He gave her over $1 million to help her, right? Now the media have jumped on this, because listen to this. He gave her the check for $1 million and she said, "Thank you for this. I really, really appreciate it. But I would rather have my husband back." Right? And he went, "Yeah, I understand. Yeah, of course." Anyway, when Donald Trump was back in his own, say, bus with his own people around him, he mentioned it on the bus. Now, this just shows you how shitty the media is. He said, when I gave her the check, she said that she'd wish that she had her husband back. Then he stated this, and this is how shit the media is. He said, "I know guys that if I had he says, "I know women that if I had to give them $1 million, they would have taken it in exchange for their husband." Anyway, now the media are saying Donald Trump's making fun of a widow. He wasn't making fun of a widow. He was stating a point on a bus with people around him. It just goes to show you, you cannot trust any journalist. They will twist what you say to sell a story to fit their narrative. And I've known that over the years with many of the journalists I've worked with. Yeah. Sad, isn't it? But there we go. That's the new thing now. Donald Trump makes fun of widow. Isn't it? Shocking how they'll do anything to disparage him and stop him from running against that other person. Not going to mention her name. Well, this story is a bit sad this morning. I'm sure you're fully aware that sports stars are all sponsored. They are. All sports stars are sponsored by companies. Companies want to see their name of their company beside a global star, don't they? Now, do you remember a female UK tennis player called, and I'll try and get this name right, Emma Raducanu? Emma Raducanu. I think she won the US Open. Well, guess what? Porsche jumped all over it, and they were like, we want you to be our brand ambassador, our global brand ambassador. She's like, oh wow. So they give her a Porsche. They give her a Porsche to drive around in, and she loved it. She loved it. But since then, she's been hit with a string of injuries. Injuries, operation, injury and operation. Guess what? Porsche have only gone and take their car back from her. Yeah, they've taken their car back from her. They're saying, oh, no. She's still very much associated with us, but not at the minute because she's not playing well. Now, isn't that a shitty thing to do, isn't it? Imagine Porsche going, imagine being a sports star and going, well, what if I get injured? Does that mean Porsche don't want anything to do with me? I mean, for that alone, I wouldn't even buy a Porsche. They've got one out at the minute. I think it's the poor man's Porsche. It's called the Porsche Boxster. I mean, they're about $7,000 second hand or $6,000. It's not a car now. I mean, that's what they've done to Emma Raducanu is disgusting. And I hope their sales drop, actually. I really do. It's not a brand you want to be associated to, is it? They actually sponsor Ant Middleton at the minute. But I'm sure that if Ant says the wrong word, or I'm sure if Ant looks the wrong way, they'll drop him. You know, it's not a company that you can rely on, is it? Terrible way to behave. And the supermodel Naomi Campbell has hit out saying she denies all allegations of misconduct with her charity. As far as she's concerned, she did everything right. Well, you didn't, Naomi. You didn't. You know, just because you have a charity doesn't mean to say it's yours. It's not yours. You can't just go out and stay in hotels and buy cigarettes and claim expenses from your charity. I mean, it just goes to show you how off-beaten these people are if they believe that, well, the charity said I can have expenses. That does not mean a 5-star hotel, and it doesn't mean cigarettes. Expenses means food, travel to and from. It does not mean 5-star hotels. It's just shocking. These people are so entitled, aren't they? So entitled that they get it wrong every time. Sad. And it just goes to prove we've got the shittiest Prime Minister in history. I mean, he's handed back one of our islands already. He's been in the seat 5 minutes. The Chagos Islands, he's handed them back to Mauritius. But he hasn't just done that, has he? No, we've got a military base in the Chagos Islands. So now that he's handed back the island to Mauritius, he signed a 99-year lease so we can use their island for our military base. So guess what? He's given back British territory to Mauritius, and we're now being charged tens of millions of pounds a year to have our base there. I mean, what type of an idiot have we got in... And guess what? Spain want Gibraltar back now. Spain are fighting for Gibraltar. And guess what? Argentina want the Falkland Islands back now. It's all out for grabs, isn't it? Because we've got the weakest Prime Minister ever. What a terrible Prime Minister. This 99-year lease now with Mauritius over the Chagos Islands, which was ours, is going to cost us billions of pounds over 99 years. Billions. Wow. I think the best thing for the Chagos Islands is that if it sinks and goes underwater, it'll save us all a fortune. Then no one gets it. Yeah. Weird way to behave, isn't it? And in America, they've opened up a hotline for P. Diddy victims, believe it or not. P. Diddy victims. They opened up a hotline, and within 24 hours, there was 12,000 calls. That guy's not getting out of jail anytime soon, is he? No, he's not. Yeah. Oh, God. Well, the funniest story of the day, I have to point out, is Prince Harry. I mean, where does he get off? I mean, he must be... I think I'll rename him as the global laughingstock. The global laughingstock. Do you know what judge has thrown out his claims? Listen to this here. Prince Harry has claimed that he was bugged and had tracking devices were... Prince Harry claimed to the judge that he has been bugged and tracking devices were planted to monitor where he was going. The judge has went, no, they weren't, were they? No, there's no proof of this. And I wish you would stop wasting court time. Brilliant by the judge. Stop making up false allegations and wasting court time. It's costing the taxpayer money. Stop it with your nonsense. Stop it. He's a global laughingstock. He really is. And it's pathetic now to watch the amount of shit that hit in the papers. I mean, it's like, I want away from the royal families because, we don't like media intrusion, but we've got a global secretary, we've got a global PR team, and we like to go everywhere. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say this. I say this. If you've got children, go and be a dad. Go and look after your children. Go. Because the minute you're turning out to be a global laughingstock and someone that doesn't really care much about their family. Anyway, listen, thanks for watching my videos. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.